Hello everyone, this is an information session on Grace Hopper celebration. So first of all, we'll start with Anumeha, who will give us some insights on GHC and the career fair.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Anumeha, and I attended Grace Hopper conference in 2018 in Orlando, Florida, which had about 25,000 participants, and that was an in-person event. So I received a scholarship to attend the conference, and which is why I was able to travel to Orlando for the conference. So I'm mostly going to talk about my experience and a few things that you should do before the conference and a few things that you should keep in mind in the conference as well. Also, most of my perspectives right now would be how it is mostly in person, and I can give you a few insights about how it can be virtual as well. So before GHC, when they announce for GHC and you can start visiting the website, start seeing the agenda or say the speakers, they also open up this thing called the resume database, and that's one of their sole sources of truth for hiring or saying setting up interviews and reaching out to candidates before the conference. So as a candidate, you just have to create your account. This is even before registering for the event. You can actually register on the resume database. So you don't even have to take part in the event or actually attend the event to upload your resume in this resume database. You can just upload your resume and make sure that you format it correctly before uploading it to the GHC website. And that's a place where a lot of companies pick up resumes from, or even after the conference, if they want to continue hiring, that's where they actually pick candidates from through this event. Also, before GHC, so a lot of companies sponsor GHC, which is why they come to GHC as sponsors, and that's how they have their career fairs. So you should also start checking out different company portals to see GHC specific links. A lot of companies have specific GHC links for hiring for full-time jobs, for internships. So it's a good thing to actually apply there if you're planning to attend the conference, because that starts your process beforehand. So if you can start a process before the conference, you might be able to give that, say, coding test to complete a single round of interview, which gives you a head start at the conference. So be active in that way. And I think the best way to actually find out links for different companies is LinkedIn. So usually people upload their profiles with a hashtag, say hashtag GHC, or just start posting things about them attending GHC. And there are different kinds of people. So you might just have students like you who are attending GHC, or they might be recruiters or just representatives from different companies who are going to attend GHC or be at the career fair booth. So it's a good it's a good thing that if you actually engage on LinkedIn and connect with these people, because it might open up opportunities for you which you don't know. And next thing is, all these companies that come to GHC have networking events during the conference. So initially it might seem to you like, okay, that these are just networking events, like we can just let them be, it's okay, we'll figure it out during the conference. But all these networking events at GHC are informal events where you get to celebrate with these people at their specific locations. But the good thing about these networking events is that it's informal, so you actually get to connect with representatives and talk to them. And this kind of connection will be useful because you're creating bonds, you're networking with these people, so you can reach out to them after the conference for, say, anything, for even if you want a referral later on in the future, or if you want to know about the opportunities that they have, you can just connect with these people after the conference. So that's why these networking events at GHC are a good thing. So if you find any links to, say, networking events, or if you can get an invite to these networking events, make sure you try to get it. Make sure you're proactive in that way to reach out to people to get these invites before the event. Now, the next thing is, when GHC happens in person, usually you have a huge area where all companies set up their booths, where they usually talk to candidates or interview them, or just talk to them. So before the conference, you should try to get a map of the entire event, of especially the career fair side of it, to see which company is located where. It's a huge area. You can't really, if you don't know which company is where, it's just going to be hard for you. And on the day of the conference, it's very important for you to know which company is where if you want to go talk to them, because there's so many people for the same company. They're going to be huge queues. It's important to know that. So when I was going to GHC, I had the map of the event. And since the career fair, especially the career fair, happens for 3 days, kind of 2.5 days, but you need to plan which company you want to talk to on which day. So there are going to be some companies that are going to be overcrowded. That's where a lot of candidates are going to go. And you're going to spend hours just waiting in line to talk to someone from the company. So what I did was that on the first day, which was the opening day, so we just had half a day of career fair, I didn't go to the companies that were very crowded. So I knew these companies are going to be crowded, so I just decided not to talk to them on the first day, so I can talk to more companies that I want to on the first day itself. And I knew, so say on the map, I know, okay, that this is the area where most of the companies that I'm very interested in are. So you're like, okay, I'm going to go there first, talk to people, try to get interviews there, or try to just give my resume. So they consider me, and on the first day they might actually have interview spots open, while on the other days the interview slots might be full. So it's important to try to get an interview on spot also, although it might be difficult, and I'll actually get to that later. But that's what I did. So I didn't go to the bigger companies and the biggest companies in the first day, because they were going to be crowded. And I also knew that they weren't going to hire interview on spot. They were going to take resumes, talk to people, and reach out to them later on. So it didn't make sense for me really to go to those companies on the first day, and which is why I didn't go to them. So now, so let me tell you about how this event went by. And before the first day, when we reached there, we have to collect our badges. And there were 25,000 participants. It's just going to be so crowded. We had to go to the reception area and collect our badges at 5 a.m. in the morning that day, so we can actually enter the event. And so we did that. And so the career fair was scheduled to start at 11 o'clock, but everyone started lining up by 8:30 just to enter the career fair. And I mean, because everyone was lining up, I did line up 2 hours before the event. But honestly, it doesn't really matter, because as soon as the gate opens, everyone's just going to run. And like, that's going to be a state of panic, because you're like, oh, everyone's running to these companies. Even I have to go and, interview. But there's so many companies. Like, if you see that the particular stall is crowded at that point, you go and finish your other companies. You go talk to the other people. And career fairs not necessarily mean that, okay, I want an opportunity right now, so I'm going to the career fair. It can also open up doors to future opportunities. Say you attend the conference, you attend GHC, which is not just about the career fair, and it can open up opportunities for you after the conference, or like say at a point where you're actually looking for jobs. So let's actually before we go on further, let's understand what GHC is. So I should have actually started with this, but so Grace Hopper is a huge gathering of not just women, but allies, or just anyone who support women in computing mostly. And it's not just, so the career fair at GHC is one of the biggest career fairs out there. But apart from that, they have a lot of other things. They have really good talks. They have some really amazing career talks, technology talks. I did attend a few career talks, and they were really good. And they have this thing called the Open Source Day. So if people are looking out to get started in open source, this is a really good opportunity, because you have one whole day dedicated to open source, where you have mentors who actually help you get started with open source. That's one of the things. And a lot of people actually present papers and present posters at GHC, which are also networking opportunities, if you look like, because you never know who you're talking to and how they can actually benefit your future. So that's GHC, and most people actually go there because of the career fair, which is a huge recruiting event. And so when you're actually talking to companies, it's important that you stand out. So if you want to stand out, you need to have a pitch beforehand. A pitch is small. It's say maximum 3 or 4 sentences, which bring out the strongest points in you, which tell your strength, which uniquely represent you. So say, just saying, hey, I'm this from this college, it's not really going to stand out. Say that, hey, I say you interned here, I worked with this, and I'm interested in this opportunity because this is my passion, or this is what I want to bring to the table. And you start off with a small pitch when you approach these companies. And so that's how you get started with the company. And if you're attending GHC, say in person or virtual, make sure you have your resume on hand, so either digital copy or like a hard copy if it's in person, because some companies do ask for resumes, some don't, it depends, but it's important that you have your resume in hand. And at the conference, I also noticed that a lot of people bring their business cards. So if you have a business card, you can just get them printed. It's good because say you're at a networking event, informal networking event after the conference, or say you're just talking to someone at a talk, or at one of these open source mentorships or anything, or at the keynote, you can't really give out your resume because they're not hiring, right? Necessarily, it's, you want to give them something which uniquely represents you, or which reminds them of you. So a lot of people actually carry small business cards which just has the basic detail about, say, their university, their contact details, or where they're interning, and that can be something useful too. So that's another good thing that you can carry for GHC. And apart from the career fair, because of these networking events, you need to make sure that you have you research about these companies also. So even if you're not interviewing, but just to strike a conversation, just to start a conversation, it's important to research about these companies, to know what they actually do, because you can't go up to them and talk to them without knowing what they do. They will know that you're not really interested in their work because you don't really know what they do. So it's always good to, especially for the companies that you're really interested in, make sure that you do some kind of research to just understand what work they do. And okay, all this sounds really serious about the event, but it's an amazing event. It's you might feel that there are so many people, and do I really stand a chance? Will I really make it? But you never know. Everyone's it's always worth a shot, right? So even if you don't get interviews on spot, during the event, it's fine. So what I did was that every person that I met, either they were recruiters or just representatives from the company, I say took a picture of their badge, or I just added them on LinkedIn right then and there. Because after the event, I did reach out to all these people and say, hey, we met at GHC and I'm really interested in your company. Let me know if there are any future opportunities, or if you can refer me. So some people didn't reply, but that's okay. And some people did, because after the event as well, a lot of companies get back to you with, say, the coding test or just interviews. So you never know, these opportunities come after the event's over also. So it's always good to, when you talk to people, just say that, hey, I want to connect with you so we can talk after the event. So some people might not reply, which is okay. But this way you have a contact in almost every place that you're interested in working at. So that's something you should do after the event. You shouldn't really lose hope saying that, oh, I didn't get any interview at the event, or I didn't get recruited, which is okay. You never know what is there in store for you in the future. And they have some really amazing swag, not to forget. So if you guys get a chance to attend, make sure you do take it, because it's definitely an experience which is worthwhile. Guess that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Anumeha. Next, we have Sharanya and Meghna. They'll be talking about Grace Hopper celebrations in India and ACM Scholarship. I think we can start with Sharanya, and then Meghna can talk about it.
Okay. Hi everyone, I am Sharanya. I attended GHCI, which is Grace Hopper Celebration India, in 2018. And as Anumeha said, she covered most of the points of GHC, and most of the parts are similar to GHCI as well. Like the resume database, the networking sessions, the career fair, all of those are similar. But the one thing which was different for me was that I applied through the ACM Scholarship. So each college which has a student chapter of ACM has a few seats, like 2 or 3 seats reserved for GHC, GHCI specifically. So I applied through that, and the difference is that we won't need a recommendation letter to apply through the ACM scholarship. Whereas applying through the general scholarship, which is for GHCI, which I think Anumeha got, you would need a recommendation letter and a few more things. So after that, I submitted my resume in the resume database, and that was the most important part of the entire event for me because I got a few calls through the resume database only. And once you get selected through the resume database, you might have a few coding rounds and then you might get invited to some networking sessions. And those networking sessions, you would be able to decide which company you are really interested in. And that was when I decided that I was interested in Microsoft. And most of the other things, such as career fair, those can be really overwhelming when you attend it at the real event because there are many people and there are some interviews happening on spot. So I would suggest you can take it light and not expect to get an interview on the spot because I got my interview after 1 week after the event. And I would just suggest if you get an invite to the event, just go ahead and enjoy the event and see through all the companies, sit through the demo sessions, attend the talks, and get all the swags and enjoy the event basically. And once you get an interview, you can focus your mind on getting selected for the company. And in my experience, like I mentioned, I got coding round interviews, coding round selections for 3 companies, Goldman Sachs, Microsoft, and Google. But since we can attend only one networking session as they are all on the same night, I attended for Microsoft. And after that, after the event, I got interview calls for Microsoft. And after you get selected through the interview, you may get an internship or a full-time job offer, depending on what year you are in college. Yeah, so that was my experience, and I got an internship through the GHCI Career Fair. I can pass over to Meghna to continue.
Okay. Hi guys, my name is Meghna Kashyap and I'm currently in my third year in IT. So my experience with GHCI is a little different from the rest of the speakers because I attended GHCI in my third semester, which is my second year in 2019, which is 1 year after Sharanya did. Right. So just like Sharanya said, I got it through ACM as well. So ACM sponsors around 2 to 3 girls from each chapter to go for GHCI every year. And I had just joined ACM and ITK in my third sem. So when I received information about it, I did go ahead and apply for it and did some research and went ahead with it. So at the beginning, I had to fill out a form, I had to explain my projects and give my resume. And then later on, I got another form which I had to talk about I had to explain in detail all the different projects I have done and if I had any volunteering experience, I had to explain that in detail and any other scholarships I had. And like there were typical questions like what different challenges faced by women in tech, how would GHCI help you, etc. So a month before the conference, I received an email regarding my selections and like all expenses get reimbursed by GHCI and your travel and accommodation as well. Now, because I was in third sem, before attending the conference, I was still kind of trying to discover what fields I would be interested in, what do I want to pursue, what field do I want to specialize in. So I have to say GHCI was a huge turning point for me in terms of realizing what exactly I wanted to do. So in the conference, I was checking out different talks related to web dev, AI, ML, all of that. And just like everyone spoke about career fair, I too will. So the biggest event in GHCI is the career fair. So I hadn't really sat for recruitments in my third sem then or anything of that sort. So I didn't really know how recruitments worked then. So that was a pretty huge plus point for me when I attended the career fair because that's when I got to know what recruitments are, how those work, and honestly, attending the career fair gave me some experience about some of the largest companies which are out there. So as soon as you step in, so I had the privilege of attending it offline. So as soon as you step in, you find some of the most largest companies like Google, Microsoft, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo. They just lined one after the other. So since I was in my second year, I didn't really have to apply for internships as such then. So in a way, this kind of enabled me to explore each company without having so much tension on bagging that internship or any offer. So I remember speaking and conversing with a lot of people from there. And when I did sit for placements, I mean, recruitments in my third year, I was pretty surprised to find a lot of people who were actually attending GHCI. They were the same people who were recruiting from college as well. So huge plus point is recruiters are very common from each company. They actually they're the same people going everywhere. So having them on your LinkedIn, kind of having their contacts is really super helpful. So one key takeaway is building connections, interacting with people, getting to know all these members from the corporate world is really a huge point of GHCI. So in your rush to bag an internship or a full-time offer, don't forget that networking can go a really long way. And honestly, the number of connections I made on LinkedIn, emails of professionals I obtained, and any other contact details, it helped me a lot, because as soon as the COVID pandemic struck, my research internship plans were kind of on hold. So these contacts were really useful for me to kind of get information about any other internships I could pursue and things. So do network over there. And a specific incident from my life would be when I did sit for recruitments in third year. I remember talking in GHCI with people from Wells regarding who exactly do they want to hire, what kind of candidates they're looking for. So when I did sit for the interviews in my third year, it was super helpful because I actually tailored my answers to kind of match what they wanted. So you never know when small things really help you out. Another thing is they have something called the Tech Expo, which is really, really cool because it's like a bunch of products and services which are not even released in the market. So it's sort of like a sneak peek you get into the different companies' upcoming products. And another highlight, which everyone had talked about, is the different workshops, the different demos you have. So I attended quite a few. I attended 182 IoT, dark data. So these were like things which I didn't know so much about in my third sem. So it was like really great for me to go ahead and listen to everything, pick out all the kind of topics I really like. So definitely bagging internships, FTE offers is huge in these conferences. But do take out the time to kind of attend these talks, because these are done by really experienced women. Like who've really made a name out for themselves. So do attend these workshops, demos, mentoring sessions, and also like the people who kind of give these sessions. They're people from various companies, so getting their contacts is also a huge plus. And lastly, we had something called speed mentoring sessions. So it's like a bunch of us, we had a common mentor, and so these mentors were highly experienced women from different companies. So I remember I had people from Microsoft and Goldman Sachs. So it's called speed mentoring because it keeps changing every 10 minutes. Your mentor keeps changing every 10 minutes. And the good thing is the bunch of people you sit with, they're not just students, but they're also kind of people who already have work experience. So it's like a very diverse bunch of people. So that was great as well. So right. So in conclusion, like GHCI was great. So if you do get the chance to attend it, please do apply for the scholarships, because it'll open a lot of new doors for you. Yeah.
Thank you, Meghna. Okay, next we go ahead with Arpita, who is Anita B. York Scholarship winner for GHCI 2020. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Hi everyone. So I'm in my final year IT right now, and I got to attend both GHC and GHCI this year for free. And my experience was really, really different from the rest, mainly because it was virtual, both of them this year. Coming to GHCI, it normally happens in November, but because of the whole COVID situation, it could not happen this year. So it happened recently now, Feb end and March beginning. So instead of being a continuous 4-day event, it was instead on 4 consecutive Fridays. And the career fair happened on the last 2 Fridays. So that was in the beginning of March. Yeah, like everyone said, it's a great place to meet different people and like actually network and build your contacts. So you can contact people later on if you're looking for any opportunities. And in spite of the whole thing being virtual this time, I still managed to get a lot of coding tests from different companies. But since I decided not to continue working for next year, I did not really sit for any of them. But the sheer number of companies which reached out shows that it's really a good place to actually bag offers. Um, Now, apart from this, I was also a poster presenter at GHCI this time. So one thing I realized is like you can actually present the work that you do either at like your internship or like in college itself. You can present it as a poster or like just talks in the conference, and it's really good to like let people know about what you're working on, because that also opens up different opportunities to you. Just based on my poster also, I was contacted by a lot of people for offers. And yeah, I also got the student scholarship, like Madhaparna said, for this year. And the form required us to have a short statement of purpose, like what we would benefit from GHCI, how would it help us achieve our academic and career goals. We had to like list out our technical skills and our co-curricular activities, basically things that showed that we are enthusiastic and really interested in technology, and that attending the conference will actually benefit us. It also required a video testimonial, which had an intro and a few lines about why you wanted to attend the conference. And yeah, it also required a resume and a letter of recommendation. And the thing about the Anita Veer or a scholarship for GHCI is that it is usually for people in their final year of undergraduate, or else if you're doing your master's or PhD, you can apply. So like if you're an undergrad student, you have to be in your final year when the conference happens. So like in your third year right now when you're applying. And Yeah, that's about my experience at GHCI. Like I said, I also attended GHC, which happened earlier in September, October last year. This I got to attend because I was selected as an open source day mentor. And like Anumeya said, it's a great way to begin with open source. And despite it being virtual, I got a chance to interact with so many people. All the speed mentoring sessions, the networking sessions happened virtually for GHC. So like we'd get on Zoom calls and interact with different people, and like we'd share our LinkedIn profile so we connect immediately. So it was good getting to know different people. I couldn't really get many job offers there because they weren't looking for they weren't able to sponsor visas at that point because it was at the peak of COVID. So that was a disappointment. But apart from that, you still get to meet a lot of great people, which is really good. And another thing that happened at GHC was I noticed that there were booths not just for companies but also for universities. So I managed to attend and go talk to different universities that I was planning on applying to for masters. And this really helped me get a feel of how the culture is there. And I got to talk to different profs there. And I also got a fee waiver for my application fees. So it reduced the cost of applying for different colleges. So that was a good thing about attending GHC for me, apart from the networking opportunities. Yeah, and all in all, these opportunities are really good to get to know people. And there are various other ways where you can like volunteer for the conference and actually get a free pass, which is really good because you get to meet different people and can actually bag different offers. So it's a so if you do get a chance to attend, definitely do attend. And yeah, that's it from me.
Thank you, Arpita. Also, the Anita Beer Scholarship is a very prestigious scholarship, so make sure you apply for it. And apart from that, the resume database is usually free, so you need not really attend GHC or pay any application fee. And apart from that, so you have like separate fees for attending the conference, that is the talks, and for only attending the career fair. So if you're only interested in the career fair, you can also pay that much amount and just attend the career fair. Okay, so now we'll open up for Q&A. So if you have any questions, you can ask us. And also for this year, the application deadline is 28th or 29th April. And we are also planning on like reviewing applications. So usually an application consists of multiple essays. So through which they want to know what kind of person you are and different things. So yeah, so we are like ready to help you out in like reviewing the reviewing your essays and like help you prepare for the GHC scholarship. Okay, now you can, if you have any questions, you can ask. Also, there are various other scholarships, not just the Anita York one and the ACM one. Various other companies also sponsor students to go attend the GHC. Like I think there is a Facebook scholarship, and even like Google sponsors some students. So just like you can like Google online and find such opportunities and do apply for them as well.
Okay, I see a question that Salman has on chat. So, to apply for these conferences, so I remember before I was applying, I just applied without any hopes of actually getting selected for the scholarship. And before that, I didn't really have much idea about what the conference is like, how many people actually turn up for the conference, and how big it is. So because I was kind of unaware of that, I just applied for the scholarship saying, hey, okay, let's see what's going to happen. And so when you start reading up more about the scholarship, you'll see that there's so many people who are actually attending these conferences like these. And it's actually very competitive when you think about it, because there are like 25,000 companies for 25,000 people for, say, like 100 200 companies. Like if you think about it, that's just, if you think about that way, you're like, okay, my chances are really less to for these companies. Why do I even apply for them? But I think for me, it was mostly to just experience how it is, to kind of know how to approach these companies, to know how to put yourself out there, how to present yourself as an asset to the company. That's what you're really doing here, and try to more than that, just try to understand about the company. And I guess it was for me. I felt that, okay, I didn't really expect to gain anything out of it, but because I was like, okay, there's so many people, what chances do I really have? But just like the experience. So I think if you want to apply and you feel that, hey, maybe I'm not good enough, or do I really stand a chance, just apply for the experience, just to see. You will learn more about yourself. You will learn what your strengths really are, or things that you can actually achieve. So there's no harm in applying, right? So I mean, worst case, what's going to happen, that you might not get what you intended to get, but there's no harm in actually experience. It can be a fun experience for you, right? So I think that's how I mostly convinced myself to apply. And people, so I feel like the biggest hurdle in applying to these scholarships is the application form, actually. Because it's huge. They ask you so many questions, they ask you to fill so many answers. It's just tiresome, and you're like, okay, what do I fill for this? Do I really have an answer? What kind of question is this? How do I answer this? And I feel like that's one thing that kind of holds people back from applying, because of the application process. Just long and unnecessary. I mean, okay, the questions aren't unnecessary, but it's just they're not straightforward. They're not you don't have one single solution to these answers. So I think just sitting with these questions and trying to put your experiences, just think of these questions as a way to put forward your experiences, a way to actually express yourself. So you actually complete the application, because once you complete that, that's just the only thing that's required in these scholarships mostly. So I think just
I would like to add to it, Anumiha. So you also need the LOR. So last year I didn't apply because I was just scared to ask my professor for a letter of recommendation. Yeah, so this year, since the application deadline is on 28, 29, make sure you already talk to a professor and ask them for an LOR. Yeah, Arpita, go on.
Okay, yeah. So for me, I heard about GHC when I was from a long time, because my sister had attended it earlier, and like even Anumiha. So like from my second year, I was applying to different scholarships and looking out for different opportunities that could actually help me go to the conference for free. But like nothing really worked out. So like last year, even I was like facing a lot of issues. Like I wasn't really sure if I had to if I wanted to apply, because like none of these women's scholarships had really worked out so far. But then I realized, like, what's the worst that could happen? Like I wouldn't get selected, and what's the best? I could get selected and actually gain something really great out of it. So like the advantages beat the disadvantages of it. So that's how I kind of overcame that fear of like not being good enough and actually applied. And yeah, like Anumeya said, the applications are really long, and that's probably a reason why people like don't apply for it and like back out last minute. But like if you do fill it, it's a great learning experience. You do learn more about yourself, so it is a good opportunity to do that. And yeah, about even I was like scared for the LOR. So for the GHCI one, I ended up applying one day before the deadline, and I did not even give an LOR, but I still got selected, which was nice. Yeah, but it's always better with an LOR.
Okay, but like if you want to approach a professor, so I think it would be better if you approach a female professor, and if she knows you, because they can write a lot about your involvement in helping out other women, and that's something they might be looking at. But even otherwise, it's okay. So like when you're approaching a professor, say sending an email or talking to them, just explain to them what GHC is all about, because it's different from other kind of scholarship where probably they're talking about what kind of projects you have worked on. So like it's very different, and sometimes, especially in 90K, professors may ask you to write the LOR yourself. In that case, also like make sure that if you're writing it yourself, it's different from other kind of LORs where you're writing about your internships and project work. It should be more about your community, and also like also projects matter, but like you should focus more on the other part. Any other suggestions for like LORs, other
Yeah,
speakers?
I would like to add on that. As you said, approach female profs. I don't think that is the case because I had approached Mohit sir for an LOR for GHC, and he was more than happy to give me. And I would like to add that be sure to mention what is GHC and why do you want to attend such a conference. And also, please ask the professor before writing your own LOR. And if they suggest that you write a draft, then only you go ahead and write a draft and give it to them. Otherwise, many profs do write their own LORs for you. And don't be scared of asking profs for LORs because you would need to do that for your masters, and this would be a good practice, I feel.
Yes, thank you, Sharanya. Any
And
other
I
question?
and I think
Yeah,
most profs, if they know you, they're not gonna, and they know that okay, fine, this is an opportunity that you think is gonna benefit you. Most likely, they're not gonna say no to you if they know you. So there's apps like you can ask them for multiple LORs, and most likely they're just gonna submit the same thing for you. So like, just don't hesitate thinking that okay, if I ask them now, I can't ask them for masters because I would have already asked them. So just don't worry about all that.
Yeah, if they know you, they'll be more than happy to like recommend you. So do reach out.
And the other hurdles for applying are basically the essay questions and the resume. And with the essay questions, as Madhupanna mentioned, we are ready to help you with suggestions and writing your essay questions. And with the resume, I think it would be really helpful if you get started on that because you would obviously need a resume for your internship interviews or placement interviews. So it would be good if you get started on it from now as well.
yeah, so we'll be sending a form soon. So if you are ready with whenever you're ready with your essay questions, you can let us know and we'll review it. Any other questions? Like, feel free to put it on chat. Okay, so if there are no other questions, we can conclude this session here. But like, feel free to reach out to any of the speakers and fill out the form if you're interested in applying for the scholarship this year. Thank you, everyone.
Also, people who join later, this session will be available on our YouTube channel, so the entire session. So in case you missed out something,